Yeah, so I'm going out for walking right now. For exposure on the sun and just having a walk through in this lovely land. So I'm gonna share with you a single man in his 30s and what are his experiences and learnings along the way. So number one, I learned that dating in 30s is significantly challenging. Many men in social media they are saying that dating in 30s is hard, not because of looks. Unlike in 20s that looks really are an increasing or prioritized factor. But in 30s, usually looks matter. Got it. Yeah, sorry. Just the lip out there. So, who doesn't want stability, right? Stability is heaven actually. But also substance, emotional intelligence, and being able to do small talks. Like talking about knowing each other and not just one-sided messages. The chase. But I believe that there are also factors that makes the dating hard in 30s, not just financial stability, not just the looks, but the ability to talk to a certain person. I don't know. Maybe it's the factor of being in 30s that you are trying to talk to a certain person. Let's say you've matched something in the dating, let's say in Tinder, Facebook, or any dating app. So of course you expect that when you match with a person, vice versa, and then you message them, you're expecting that the energy will be welcoming, like not just hi, hello, and when you ask how are you, and then the person will say I'm fine, then you're expecting to the person will ask as well, how about you, or I'm fine, how about you. What most happens in the dating scene when you match a certain person to a certain girl or a boy, regardless vice versa, is that it's always one-sided. When you ask how are you, I'm fine. What are you doing right now? Scrolling. And then it gets draining. One word replies, no interest in knowing the other person. Not so serious. Like, what is the meaning of that match thing if the certain person is not serious? But I don't know. Well, that's the reality of dating. That like everyone wants to be served. You get what I mean? everyone wants to get served. Like, everyone wants to be chased, to be asked questions, but doesn't want the effort to serve. To this person, to a person you matched with. I don't know. But it feels like yeah, I get it in the past that when I'm still young, I love the chasing thrill that I keep messaging, asking without expecting proper reciprocation or matching the energy. But at this 30s time, it's more of like I feel awakened or something. I do not understand. When I was still young, I loved the chase. Keep chasing. If a certain girl gives a hint, I love the chase, the chase. But nowadays, in the dating scene, I don't know if I'm gaslighting myself because it feels like there's always mind gaming, mind games as always. Or like the person you match with are just there to use you for dates, like going out for food. Well, others are admitting it as well that they like to be manipulated as well. I think relationships cannot be really relationships without some hints of uh, permissible manipulation. Let's be real. We know that there are moments in relationships that it feels like manipulation, but we are just gaslighting ourselves because we are in a relationship. But that's the part of relationship. And right now in 30s, one of my experiences is that number two is that I'm very, very hesitant in entering another relationship. I think the reason some parents encourage their children to enter a relationship at a very young age because when you get older, it is very hard to enter into a relationship when or as you get older. Why? I think the reason is that because of certain traumas and what we see. And the more the mind is getting matured, like what they say it again, when the part of your brain is getting matured, like around 25 years old, they say, it becomes more aware, self-aware, more cautious. That it feels like everything is just, they are naming everything instead of enjoying the moment. Although it's not bad to be super self-aware, but being ultra and hyper self-aware is more of like it kills the happiness. And that's what happens as we get older. That's why there are certain relationships in older ages that the loop is keep repeating. The pattern keeps repeating. First marriage failed, second marriage enters, still failed. Third, fourth, fifth. At least they tried, but the pattern is still there. the chase to happiness is real. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be served to be happy. Even me, I admit, I want to be served as well. But the hardest part of building lasting relationships is to serve, which is to serve, is more of like, it's not so worship nowadays, especially in social media. Every time in social media, the voice of being served is always loud. But being the servant in the relationship is always being tagged as a red flag, I think. But in actual sense, it takes two to serve, both serve in the relationship, so that the relationship is really robust, long-lasting, and full of love. Yeah, I think that's, if that matters, if it speaks. And today's era, we are so hyper connected with each other, to the point that there is no privacy anymore. Unlike before the hyper internet era, our identities are very private. That's why we could develop relationships that are, I think, healthier. But there are also unhealthy relationships, and it is more being highlighted, getting more highlighted these days because of social media. It's getting called out, and also healthy relationships are being highlighted also. Maybe they say that social media has influenced dating nowadays because our eyes are glued to the screen almost all day. That's why we see ourselves depressed, sad, questioning, doubting. And that's fine. That's being human. But when I tried to stop my eyes to be glued on the screen and just enjoy the nature, just like this one, I feel like everything is just fine. Do you get what I mean? Everything is just fine. I mean, when you look at the forest, the trees, look at it. It's just free to be who they are. Like this tree, the banana tree, it's just being the banana tree, and it looks satisfied as it is. It's beautiful. Like this plant, they have their own unique characteristics, and based on their looks, they are enjoying and growing as they are. And they are busy growing as they are. Unlike nowadays in social media, that example, I admit that the more I look on social media, the more I compare myself to other people's success. But when you get alone and isolated at times, and just be grateful with what you have and you have achieved, I feel like everything is just okay. And I try to deactivate social media, all of my main social media. Like I erased my main social media. Not totally erased, but just deactivated it. Everything feels fine. Even the inner critic voice is silent. And it feels um, more tranquil, peaceful. Look at the trees. They are just enjoying. I mean, they are still silent. The birds are enjoying it. And I think I want to be a tree as well. To be planted and focus on my growth. I think that's what the trees are teaching me as of right now. That when you are planted, of course, as humans, we are planted on this earth to God, to whatever faith you are in, we are in. Every day is a growth. And we should focus only on ourselves. And the only person we should show or we should prove ourselves in is ourselves as well. Yeah, I think being single in 30s is not. It's not a red flag thing. It's not about um, the age, but it's more of like being single in 30s is a privilege for me because I am able to see myself, to enjoy how I think right now, and enjoy the world as it is. Because I see the world different now compared when I was in my 20s. In my 30s right now, I have lots and lots of access to different information, knowledge. And I'm keeping questioning everything with a healthy mindset. Hopefully, um, AI could answer it properly. But it's still finding answers. Why and why the world is like this? Why is the world shaped like this? Why some parts of the church filtered? Why in the past there is no filtration? So far, I'm satisfied with the answers, and hopefully I could find all the answers. Yeah, thanks for watching.